Hi, it's me again. It's time for yet another one of the interesting videos. This time we are diving into section 3, which is a really important section. And you could probably say that about everything in this course, but this is where we really get going. And this is really a very important, crucial section. We are going to run the first is MySQL command. And also, by the end of the session, we will be able to make a new database or do a database, and then inside of those databases, we will start working with tables, which are kind of the fundamental structure in MySQL. So this is really important stuff. And by the end of the session, we'll actually throw out the entire section, or we can sprinkle a bunch of practices or exercises that I mean, and around the commands that will learn things like creating databases, using and switching to databases, and then creating tables and describing tables. So a bunch of activities are coming up in this video, and also now we are doing the real MySQL stuff. So let's get going into the video. Okay, so in this video we are going to talk about how you actually create a new databases in SQL finally. So before get going into the code, let's set the stage just a little bit, and I'm going to open up the MySQL workbench for you, and here we will type in the code. Okay, fine. The MySQL, for creating the database, the command we use is create database, and we will give the database name. So create database is the syntax we will use for MySQL to create a database. So let me go ahead and create a database of we can create a database of books. Control enter. In order to run a command, we will give the create a database, control enter. And if you want to show the database, let me check whether we can. So you can see the books database has been created here. So we can create the database with any name here, books, any name here. If you want, if it's a book database, and we can, if it is a sales data, usually the people will create like the database as sales. Like that, we can use the create database command. This is the syntax. You can note it down for creating a database. Now if you want to drop a database, that is like once you have to be really careful when you use the drop command. Once you drop a database, it's gone. So I have created a database of books. If you want to drop a database, the syntax is drop database, and you have the book name. Let me press execute this command. The command has been executed. And if you want to view the databases which are available, databases, here you can see. Let me execute this. What is happening here? Okay, and let me try drawing it again. Some error here. Okay, here is the books, and I'm using the code drop database, and while executing the command, okay, this has been run, and let me show the databases here. Now the database books has been lost. You have to enter with semicolon. Okay, that's it. That's the dropping of database. Like, so we have seen how to create a database, and the natural step is to see like was we have seen like how to delete one. So this is pretty simple. For creating a database, we use the command syntax create database name, and to delete we usually use the syntax drop database name. So we will come across the term drop here a couple of times in this course. So let's try it up. And also I just have deleted the one which I have created. So drop database and also ensure that we have ended the syntax with the command with the semicolon. First of all, because it said query, okay, but then also if I recall the show databases, the time books database is gone. Okay, you can use different examples by creating a databases, and you can delete it. Okay, now we have created a database and we know how to delete a database. And now what? Time to use them. Okay, so we have saw how we can create database and destroy them. So now we are going to see how we actually use them. There is a use command, and what this does, it tells me as well as which database we want to be working with. Suppose we will be having different databases, maybe 10 or 11 or any numbers on my server, and we want to search some data from one of them. So what we need to tell MySQL is which one we want to use. Okay, which database we want to use. Let me go ahead and create a database name. What name we can create a database as school data. Okay, so if we see this show databases, control enter, you can see the school data has been created. Okay, so we have created school databases, and we should know which database we are in. Okay, we have to, if we are using, there are different databases here, you can see world or anything, and if you want to use any particular database, what is the syntax or query we have to give? That's what we are going to look into this session. And in order to use the database we use, it's a simple, we can use the command as use, and we can directly give the database name, or else now we can see we are in the database here, and you can see if there is a select command, and it will show you which database we are in. Okay, let me click here. Hey, I'm sorry, I've entered the wrong spelling here. Okay, select database. You can see the database we are in is school_data. Okay, and this is how we use a database. So, and also in order to find which database is currently we are in, we use the syntax select database, and don't forget to give these brackets at the end. Okay, now let's give a short introduction. Now we know the database and we should know what a table is. Actually, a database is just a bunch of tables, and the tables which are most important part of SQL. And they are the true heart of using SQL. And in this video we will start off by setting the stage, or setting the table, if you will let me get away with that, how they work and they are, and then we will dive into different data types also, which is required to actually for creating the tables. So let's get started. The first thing you have to know is the database is just a bunch of tables. So we have already created a couple of empty databases and we have deleted them as well. But in future I will show you few databases and how to create the tables in the coming section. So it's and we will see some examples of the creating tables and working with the tables. There are different things that we have to do in a table, like creating table, dropping the table, that is deleting the table, and how to insert a query or select query in the table. In this section we will see all of this, but before that you should know something about data types. Okay, so let's move into the data types. So I will here give you a simple idea on data types. In the coming section there will be a separate session for data types in SQL that I will be teaching you about. Now we will have a look into the basic data types. Okay, and different, you can see, let me try to get an example for you. Okay, so here is an example that I changed some of the data just a little bit. And so we have three headers and three columns: breed, name, breed, and age. And here is an example. So the names are the same as breeds, but if you look over at age, blue is 1 year and rocket is 3 years. This is the table for cat types. Monty is 10 years old and it is mentioned as TEN, 10. Sam the cat is just mentioned as I am a young cat. So Sam's age is I am young, correct. So what I am trying to illustrate here is that we have inconsistent data. This is all text in text, and here we have got numbers mixed with text, and that is not good, and it's actually not allowed in the data or database at all. So when you create a new table, you actually have to specify name has to be text and breed has to be text, age has to be number, and there are a whole bunch of different data types under age. So this is a number and this is a text probably. So those are just what I am calling them in the English version, and you will see them in just a second, but to illustrate why it's so important that your data matches. So let's say that you have this data in your database in a table where hypothetically, well, you can have the data that isn't all matching. So we have this numeric data mixed with text under age. So let's say I want to make a really simple app that would take each cat's age in the database and to print out the converted equivalent cat age. So it's more complex. So for this we have to understand about the database. Okay. Okay, so all I put a list together a list of different data types here, and all the numeric types, basically the different ways of representing the numbers we have got. It is bit, tiny int, small int, int, big int, decimal, numeric, float, and real. And then it's small, it's tiny, and medium, and big, and decimal, numeric, float, double. So all the numeric types, basically the different ways of representing the numbers we have got. So then under date time, you can see different data types: date time, timestamp, year, that you will be learning in detail in the data separate section is data types. Then under string types, you can see char, varchar, and text. So these are the ways of representing the text, basically char, varchar, binary, var, or binary. And you can see the binary, var-binary, and which is an image, and you can see few miscellaneous like clog, blob, XML, and JSON, which we will be discussing separately on the data types. And also we have got a date, time, timestamp, and year. So it's kind of crazy. I know, fortunately you don't have to know all of those at any given time. We can get more help files, and anyway, I got this like for a documentation, and also we will be explaining in the data types in the coming sessions. Okay, so, and the few things I want to give you a stress is on few functions, that is int, char, varchar max, which we will be using in the session, or in the current session. Okay, so this is it. Like we are not going to worry about other data types now. We are just going through few of the data types: int, then char, varchar, max, and all. Well, if you want to enter a value like the age of the cat as a number or a numerical value, here in this one we will use the data types int. Okay, and if it is a character or a character here, if it is a name, Scottish Fold, the breed, the name is Blue, Scottish Fold is also a text, where we use varchar. That is, it's a string function, where we use varchar in single quotes or double quotes. It's up to you. You can use both the ways by assigning the values for the tables. So the varchar allows you to have a variation in what we want to most. That is, if you have a characters of 1 to 255 characters, we use varchar. And also, so returning to the table, we usually use varchar. Well, char or char, where you can pronounce as car or char, it's up to you. And well, char is a fixed length, so that means that everything in that column has to be of same length. So it has to be a 10 characters or something, or anything which will be assigned during the query. So varchar is, so I will probably use varchar, which is not confusing. And also for varchar max, if this is a maximum number of characters, like if we have give as varchar 5, we will be able to enter only 5 characters. So it is BLUE, it's for ROCKE. Okay, so this T won't be printed when we use varchar max 5. Okay, and that's we will discuss. If you are not understanding us, don't worry about it. We are not going to worry about it. And I just want to give a basic idea of few of the important data types. And the high level overview we will be discussing in a different section completely. So next we will have a quick details about the data types. So the int max size, the int for int also the int, that's an integer where we use for integers will be marked as int. Okay, fine. So and let's go ahead and look into the creating of new tables. Okay, and let me open up the SQL workbench. Let me clear the screen here. Okay, so I'm going to create a table. Let me go ahead and create a table called docs. Okay, and actually we want to know which database we are in. Okay, I think we are in the database. Currently we are in school data. Okay, no problem. We will create a book database called books. Create table books. Okay, the book database has been, the table books has been created. Okay, or else we can leave this. We will create a new database itself. Create database. First I'm going to create a database named cats details. Control and okay, this has been created, and we have to use cats underscore, oh I'm sorry that I have misspelled the spelling, that is its details. Okay, control enter. Okay, now we have used the cat details table, and now I'm going to create a table in it. Create table. Let's create a table just cats, and okay, we will give a simple cat tables which has a, what should be there, name, and what is the other value which has, it should have name, it has to be enter name and then age. Okay, okay, and let me fill it up. Okay, and what is the name? Name is varchar. Okay, we can give it as 100. I don't think like cat's name will be greater than 100, and you can give a comma. And for age it's int, int. Okay, now semicolon, everything should be end in semicolon. So under the table cats we are creating a, under the database cats details we are creating a data case. Let me go ahead and control enter, and we have created a database, a table cats. So if we want, we have, let me go ahead and use, okay, now I will explain you what are the commands that for creating a table we have used the syntax create table. And if you want to insert a query, you can insert it. And as of now, if you want to show a select star from cats, okay, now we have entered this name and age. We haven't entered the details. So if it gives from star from cats means it will show the tables. Okay, so in order to show the tables, we use the command select star. And now an important details is that we have to, and like we know how it worked. Okay, so if we want to give also, we can show it as show tables. Control enter. You can see the tables here is cats. And if you want to show table name completely, this DE, you can use select star from cats or DESC cats. This is more simpler. This will also, you can see here the details, the description of the name, age, name is varchar, the data type is int for age. So null, default, I will be explaining later. So this is how we know we have created a we have created a database like cats details, and then we have created a table called cats, and we have seen what is the data types in it. Okay, now if you we will look into the inserting data later. And if you want to drop a table, we use the command drop table. And what is the table name? Cats. You should be very careful. Be careful with this command. Okay, now if you see as show tables, you in the K table, in the database tables in cats details, there are no tables. Okay, you got it. So let me go ahead and execute this command here so that we can insert the values of table again. Let me create the table. Oh, sorry, control enter. I'm sorry. Okay. Okay, again the table has been created, and if you give as describe the cats table, hey, here it is. Okay, the cats table is back. Okay, now I will explain you about, so in this section we have learned about creating a table, dropping a table, and so select a table, and now we can learn how to insert a query. Let me move to the table. Okay, here it is. And so we basically saw how to make the databases, and now creating a tables, and currently the tables are empty. You can see if you show the table is really empty. So once again, the cats table is empty, but we have age and name column in it. So we have, in this session I'm going to show the tools to insert data into the cats table. Like if you in the insert command, we will give the cats names and age, and so right here. Okay, we will move into the practice session directly. So how to insert a data into the table. Okay, this is the cats table. The formula here is insert into, and we will in which table we want to insert. If it is a cats, we will mention as cats, and we have to enter the values, the column names. So what are the column names actually? You can show here the columns. Okay, the columns here is name and age. Okay, so into the cats, the column names, we have to give the column names, name, comma, age. If we have other columns like breed and all, we have to add it by giving a comma and closing in brackets. Okay, now after insert into this, let the values we have to give is values. Okay, the name should be in string. It's a single quote or double quote, it doesn't matter. Okay, let me give the cat name as Jason, comma, and the age as 5. Okay, and now I put a semicolon and let me execute this command. Now if you show the tables, now if you previously the tables are empty. Okay, now it's not tables, I'm sorry. Now we have to see what are the things in, how we know it's working. Okay, select star from cats, control enter. You can see the name is age. If you want to select only the column, one column, select name, that is column name from cats. You can see it will show only cat name. So instead, if you want to use, if you want to see the age alone, select age. The age is the name of the column from cats. It will show you only the column of age. So if you want to show the all the columns of the table, we will use the command select star from cats. Okay, now it will show both. And if you want to enter the multiple insert, like multiple values or multiple insert, I will give you an example. So the command, if you want to insert a bulk of data, so you have to insert for 10 different cat names, the age of 10 different cats, so we can understand the data here. And also I think what's more logically is actually to put it here at the end of the line. Let me get the details. Actually I'm not typing in for the multiple insert. Okay, actually the multiple insert, the value, okay, I don't have the data here. Okay, let me here, what we have to do here is Jason. Okay, let me copy and paste it here. Okay, we will give a different, it's Gary, which is 4 years, and enter, comma. Okay, for every name we have to give a comma here and enter. And if it is the second name of the cat is Steph, the age, oh my god, 54 is not actually an age of the cat. Okay, 3, now comma, another name of the cat is Stair, the age is 8. Okay, let me give a semicolon and let me execute this. Okay, now let's show all the tables. Now I have entered this. Okay, Let me go ahead and execute. Oh, okay, here it is. So it has added up all the already we have entered the JSON 5 values, and now we are entering the other values here. Okay, that's all about inserting and multiple insert of the solution. And now we will move about the null. Actually, null value in a table is a value in the field that appears to be blank. Not null signifies that column should always accept an explicit value for the given data type. Okay, now I will show you. Where is the workbench? Okay. Okay, now let me go ahead and insert the values again here. I'm not going to type this. Let me copy it from here. Okay. Insert values of insert cats, insert into cats. Okay, like this, and values also null. Do you see? We can see the null values here. Okay, so if you want to enter, if you want to avoid this null constraints, we will mention as a, we will create a new table here, and if any cat is ageless, or if you haven't entered any, now I'm creating a cats2 table, which is the varchar, it's not null, the end shouldn't be not null. So here it is. Okay, now trying to, if I'm going to try the ageless cats, so if you show this, if you want to, okay, let's go ahead and, okay, here is the default value null. You can see default, and if you want, I'm going to insert. Now I'm going to trying to insert the values like this. Insert into cat's name and values as with this ageless cats. Okay, and now let's view the warnings and select star from cats. Actually, it won't show the exact data. Do you see? It will, if there is no age, so we will have some warnings. Let me show the warnings here. Okay, here it is, and under here we can see the warnings. Error code, field age doesn't have a default value. And now do the same for ageless cats. Show warnings. Field name doesn't have a default value. Okay, this is the null, and if the null value, so if we give a default value, so we will look into details about how we can give the default value. So any null values, anything without any, if we are not giving any age or any special data, it will show you some warnings. So in that case, we use the commands. We can define a table with the default values, which means okay, like we are talking about the default values, default. So we are talked a little bit in the section of null value. So you can see both of these when we are defining a table, default, and then we specify a default. Suppose let's remarking, I'm going to create a new table of, let me go ahead and create, I will show you with a code example. Okay, now I'm creating a table of cats 3. Here it is. Okay, let me clear the screen. Okay, now I'm going to create a table of cats 3. Okay, and we can give the varchar 20 default as no name. This is the syntax: default no name provider, age int default. If no age, no diff name as no age is given, we have to mark it as 99. Okay, let me go ahead and execute this. Okay, now the table cats 3 has been created. With default value as no name provided, and for age, if we are not giving any ages, it will go to 99. Okay, so I'm going to insert a cat details without any name. You can see I have given only cat's age. So if we are not giving any details of a cat's name, it should become as no name provided. Let me go ahead and execute this. Okay, now let me and if you want to see the table, let me go ahead and give the command select star from cats 3. Okay, so no name provided is 13. You can see. Okay, if you are executing again and again, it will give you one more entry. You can see this. Okay, so if you are, let me go ahead and give a cats with name and without, that is an ageless, or else a nameless and ageless cat. Okay, we are not giving any values of any, we are not giving the values as empty, not giving int or any string value. Oh, that's simple. And here no name provided and 99. So when we combine the not null and default, I will show you. Here not null, I am going to give the command here and control enter. Let me select, show you the table here. Okay, now we are going to insert and find the difference. Okay, I will go give you the commands here. Okay, now if you are giving these details, like if you are giving null here, and let me enter, I'm sorry, control enter, and if you are running this, you can see it will give you a null option. Okay, so you can see the difference here. This is about the default values and also the null. So you have to do a couple of exercises in order to understand about what is default and what is null, not null. Okay, now like we can, okay, now we will move into the primary keys. Actually, what is a primary key? It uniquely identifies each row or record in a database table. Okay, so you in the slide, like we have one more thing like primary keys to wind up this section. So there is nothing for a name or an age. Like, what does this mean? So to dive into this, we actually something we are going to come back, which record a primary key to as a unique key for all for this table. So you actually already seen that we have different cats as identical. So we have to insert something, the name, age, values, and also in order to identify this identical data, where we use the primary key. Now if I use this, you can see we have two things as similar: no name provided 13, no name provided 13. So we need a primary key here to identify the data as unique and individual. So this primary key is very important, and it's a really useful and important thing, and it's usually a fundamental part of working with databases, is having things to be identifiable when you are signing up for an account. Let's say Twitter, and you are trying to make a username. There is a reason that you can't just make the same username that already exists. So about keeping it simple and not being confusing for users, because obviously it would be confusing if there was one cold and then another cold and they are both tweeting. Got it, right? So we want to know who is who. That is, if the same person with same name and same age, we can identify or differentiate the columns with the primary keys. So my username, and but actually in the code that is hugely problematic, because these things, when I logged in time, my username, and it's going to be to the database and try to find the user with the username, my username Sumi, and then it's going to match the password. But if there are two users with username Sumi, what does it do? So in that case, you are not allowed to have separate usernames. But at the times when we have the data, it looks like we could have like this confusions can be avoided. So usernames should be unique. So how do we know? Like, we have to easiest way that we will do, and what pretty much everyone does it, by assigning an ID or a specific value, a unique ID, that is identifier. So you can see here it added a new field. Here we have to add a new field here for the cat as a unique ID, so that there is a you can see there is a precise term for a primary key, that is unique identifier on a row. So it's just a way for identifying something, and you know that it will be unique. And also in the later session there is another key which is foreign key, and that's also a key or an identifier. Don't worry about it now. We will discuss about the foreign key in the later session. The primary key just means that whatever field we assign or whatever we make the primary key. So in this case, we are going to, in order to find the difference between the same name and age, we are using something like cat ID or any table name as cat ID or any cat number or anything as in order to differentiate between the very similar cat name and cats with name and age. So we have unique cats, so it's just the name of the table. Just let's go ahead and create a new column for cats, which will be as unique. We can create a primary key for the cats. What is the table here? Cats 3 table. Okay, now let's move into the code for cats. Okay, here is the table, and already we have created. Okay, let me go ahead and create a new table, okay, so that it will not get confused here. Oh, what is it? Okay, I'm going to create a table unique cats. Okay, its cat ID is int not null, varchar 100, age int, and you can see the table should contain cat ID, which is a primary key. So when I describe the unique cats, okay, now let's and also shows star. Okay, now let's go ahead and insert some new cats. I'm just giving few values here. 1 second. Okay, this is the customer ID we are giving. Sorry, the cat's ID we are giving here. Okay, here insert into unique cats the cat ID name. The first cat should be 1, 2, 1, Fred, or here what happens. Actually, let me go ahead and execute this. Control enter. And okay, let me go ahead and show star from unique cats. Control and oh my sorry. So this was the cats table. Let me go ahead and okay, this is the cats table we have described, and now I have inserted this, and let me go ahead and insert this. Okay. I'm going to insert all the values of cats. What is happening here? Okay, now I have entered the primary key as cat ID. The primary cat ID should be unique. So here you can see I have given 1, 2, and again I have repeated as 1. So if we this actually you can see that this won't work out, because 1 which is repeating and which is not and unique, it will throws you an error. So if we click on select star from unique cats, it going and We can see duplicate entry 1 for the key unique cats primary. So this shouldn't work out. So what we have to do is, if we are giving this as 5, okay, already we have entered this. Now we will create a new cats1, a different table, or else it won't work out. Control enter, unique cats1, unique cats1, unique cats1. Okay. Okay, unique cats1. Okay, what is happening here? Let me check. Okay, I'm sorry, here I have to use select star from unique cats1. Okay, here you can see the values has been inserted as we have given different value. So if we enter the cat's name with different values, you can add it as unique cat. And if we give a different function called auto increment, okay, suppose let me go ahead and create a table cats2 auto increment with name as varchar, and we have given the primary cat ID. Let me create a new thing, and let me go ahead, and no need to enter the cat's ID now. So we will go ahead and insert new values here. Here I can just insert it. So cat ID should be auto incremented, and okay, let me go ahead and give this. And if we are running this command, like, let me show the table for you. Here is the command, like not null cat ID int, which is an integer, not null, and auto increment. It should get added up. Okay, let me go ahead, and here it is. It's GIF, even we can see GIF 1 2 3. You see this, and it will be get added. And if you want to, let me add this values for Skippy also. Okay, now we have added it up, and all these will be added 1 2 3 4 5. You can see it as. So cat ID is unique, and which we use the function auto increment, and finally we have given as primary key cat ID here, which will gives the unique. This is the primary key I have explained you, like the unique number or unique ID which is used to identify the column names. Okay, that's all about the session, and in the next sessions we will give more importance to the commands, and also we will get into details about the data types and many different functions. Thanks for watching, and if you are new to the channel, please subscribe the channel, and I will be completely working on the course for SQL, so that at the end of the training, I'm sure that you are going to write the code in SQL. Thanks for watching again. Give a like and give a thumbs up, and also don't forget to subscribe the channel. Thank you.